He's learning. He's doing whatever the case may be. He's sitting there. He ain't saying nothing. He's learning. The narrative that we got to go week by week to say he's either ready or not ready is crazy. It's like, yo, at the end of the day, he's the backup quarterback support.
The Browns believe that he is not ready. That is
Joe Flacco said it this week.
Flacco said it. There's other players that have skirted around the issue, and there are I don't want to say leaks, but you hear things from inside teams all the time. And to me, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, it increasingly has become the narrative that he is not ready.
The Cleveland Browns are in the news, and it's messier than ever this time. They've been caught in a never-ending loop of disappointment for years, but now they're going one step further. The focus of the story is once more on Shedeur Sanders, and it's worse than it was previously. Sanders is hailed as the future and the man who can make all the difference whenever the Browns lose. However, as soon as the winds of success begin to blow, minimize action. The story shifts as soon as the stadium begins to fill with spectators. They minimize Sanders and wonder if he's really prepared for this. The pattern is becoming recognizable. Every week, Shedeur Sanders' self-confidence is used as a piece in a game he never agreed to play. The worst aspect is that things are getting out of control.
When he get an opportunity to play, let him have an opportunity to play
for real.
When Garrett Bush criticized the Browns' treatment of Shedeur Sanders, he didn't mince words. He went all out, claiming that it's obvious the Browns don't want Sanders to take charge of a game. Bush noted that to avoid showing the world how valuable he really is, they might insert him when it is unnecessary or when the team is ahead. Bush stated unequivocally that the Browns should not play Sanders at all if their intention is merely to give the impression that they are interested in him. He isn't here for that kind of manipulation, and it would just be a show for the fans. However, G didn't end there. He continued by saying that Shedeur Sanders is deserving of a chance, and that the Browns are obviously not prepared to offer it to him readily. G suggested that the team simply wait 2 or 3 weeks, make plans, and start Sanders at quarterback. In actuality, though, the Browns are unwilling to take that action. Despite his demonstrated abilities, they are not ready to give him the position of franchise quarterback.
He gonna be out here anyway. So then you got a bye week after that to get ready and figure it out. And then you can give the ball to Shedeur Sanders and say, listen, let's go and see what you can do.
1,000%.
But that is not going to do nothing for if he hands the ball off 6 times, they're not going to turn around and say, oh, he's a franchise quarterback.
As Shedeur Sanders is the target of the Browns' storyline, Mary Kay Catt's opinion contradicts their entire plan. She feels that Sanders should start a quarterback, and based on his performance, it's clear why she commended his exceptional accuracy, which she claims is unrivaled by any other player on the squad. She also mentioned how his broad range of arm motions allowed him to execute accurate throws in any circumstance. Her remarks are a direct jab at the Browns' efforts to minimize Sanders and his potential.
I don't get to watch very much of practice anymore, but in the short, little brief period that I do get to watch him throw, he is throwing to the practice squad guys and the backup receivers in the early part of practice. We can see it, and his elite accuracy is always on display.
And have right tackle by committee in this past game.
Another thing on offense that they did with great success that they had not done in the past very often was run the wild.
Sanders' versatility in tossing the ball was also praised by Catt. Sanders can modify his throws according to the circumstance, whether it's a lob or a more controlled, accurate throw to hit his target, in contrast to others who depend on a strict method. She emphasized his remarkable college achievements, such as his 74% completion rate, which she feels is indisputable and says it all. Catt denied claims that Sanders plays too conservatively or places an undue emphasis on ball security. In actuality, she noted, Sanders not only protects the ball, but also makes precise throws throughout the field to complete the task.
It is because he will definitely lob it and, throw a softer pass if that's what's needed in certain situations, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it there. And that 74% accuracy, which was an FBS high, that's legit. That's not because he's, not.
G. Bush entered the discussion and claimed that the Browns are making a concerted effort to reduce Shedeur Sanders' expanding fan following. He clarified that Sanders has amassed a sizable fan base and the Browns are naturally attempting to eclipse it. Bush countered that by stifling the young quarterback rather than allowing him to show off, they are approaching the situation incorrectly. By claiming that Shedeur is not ready, they are merely attempting to stop him once more, even though he is. Bush claims that this strategy will only harm the team in the long run. G. Bush reaffirmed his assertion that this isn't merely his viewpoint. The team's players, including Myles Garrett, are rooting for Shedeur Sanders and want to see him succeed. He underlined that Garrett appreciates Sanders' diligence and can't wait to watch him play. Bush claims that this demonstrates unequivocally that Sanders is prepared. The Browns might not agree, but the team's internal support says a lot about Sanders' readiness.
Multiple people I consistently say, there are veterans on this team that are excited to see Shedeur Sanders play. And they feel like Myles Garrett says, I see him in the coach's office all the time. I walk right by there. I like what he's doing. At the end of the day, it's about seeing what he's going to do on the field.
G. Bush makes an excellent point. Shedeur Sanders has received great praise from Myles Garrett, who particularly highlights his commitment and work ethic. It's uncommon for a player to be the first to enter and the last to exit the facility, Garrett noted. But that's exactly what Sanders does. Additionally, he has gone above and beyond by going to coaches' offices to actively seek guidance on how to get better and stand out. This dedication, in Garrett's opinion, is what really sets Sanders apart, especially at the quarterback position, where both leadership and a tireless work ethic are crucial. Myles Garrett continued by expressing his continued regard and appreciation for Shedeur Sanders, highlighting the young quarterback's unwavering dedication and effort. He is convinced that Sanders' diligence has won him the recognition he's receiving. Garrett noted that Sanders has shown maturity, which is a quality that all players should strive towards. Garrett believes that it is essential to recognize and appreciate this maturity, since it shows a unique level of commitment to the game that merits honors. Recognize.
Aaron, what's impressed you the most on how he's approached the game?
The time he takes, showing up early. Coach's office is easily seen when you walk in the building, and almost every morning you see him in there, talking through plays, talking through schemes with coach, and making sure that he's ready for his moment when he.
Strong sentiments have been expressed on all sides of the continuing controversy concerning Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns' handling of him. The Browns have come under heavy fire for their attempt to minimize Sanders' preparedness in spite of his expanding fan base and remarkable abilities. People who are urging the club to stop holding Sanders back and give him the opportunity he deserves include Myles Garrett and Garrett Bush. Bush in particular has drawn attention to the Browns' innate propensity to stifle Sanders' growing popularity in an effort to obscure rather than nurture his potential. He feels that by denying Sanders opportunities rather than giving him a chance to establish himself, the team is engaging in risky behavior. Another important Browns player and leader, Myles Garrett, has defended Sanders, lauding his commitment, maturity, and diligence. Sanders is the first to arrive and the last to depart, Garrett underlined, a unique quality that demonstrates his dedication to development. Additionally, Garrett thinks that Sanders stands out from other players because he has taken the initiative to ask coaches for advice. The Browns ought to be looking for a quarterback with these attributes, particularly one who can guide the club. The Browns have not yet selected Sanders as their starting quarterback, despite these accolades. Whether the team will continue to disregard the obvious signs coming from within or give Sanders a chance to prove himself is the matter at hand. Bush and Garrett's endorsements imply that Sanders is more than prepared. The Browns should let him show himself on the pitch and quit stifling him. They have the upper hand. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think that keeping Shedeur Sanders back is a mistake on the part of the Cleveland Browns, or do you believe their caution is warranted? Players like Myles Garrett and Garrett Bush have shown their support for Sanders, suggesting that he could be the team's future. But are the Browns actually attempting to stifle his development, or are they just waiting for the ideal opportunity? Do you believe Sanders is prepared to take charge, or do you believe he still needs more time to establish himself? Tell us what you think. How do you feel about the Browns' handling of Sanders' situation?